We have a good one here, Lara, to finish off round 4 with the two teams playing for that trophy there, the Alex McKinnon Cup. It's the 5th time they'll be playing for it here tonight, and the Dragons have dominated the previous 4 outings between these two teams. And the Newcastle Knights, as they honour Alex McKinnon once again here tonight in conjunction with St George Illawarra. They are yet to break through to take that trophy. They would love to do that tonight in front of a good crowd here at McDonald Jones Stadium, building as we speak still. A warm afternoon here in Newcastle, Danny Badiris, and the fans have come out in good numbers, as you would expect. Always a popular showdown between these two teams, the Knights and the Dragons.
Absolutely was. There's a lot of hats in the crowd. It's been a hot afternoon. It's been a beautiful afternoon. There's no fingerprints or Newcastle fingerprints on that trophy there of the Alex McKinnon Cup, and a lot of motivation, a lot of inspiration. And both these two outfits go out there tonight and put on a good show.
Well, both these two teams have been slow out of the gate and facing the prospect of having just one win from their first 4 games to begin this new season, should they lose here tonight. And like his old teammate Nathan Brown, Paul McGregor knows exactly what it's like to have everybody talking about who his fullback should be and who his 5/8 should be. And that conundrum was made a lot clearer off the back of the unfortunate shoulder dislocation suffered once again by Gareth Widdop last week in the final minutes of that game. That 1-point win against the Brisbane Broncos at Suncorp Stadium. The good news for Widdop is it looks as though he may well be available by the end of the season, given this injury has happened once again at the early part of the season. For the moment, it's Matt Duffy there in the fullback role. Corey Norman has the 6 on his back for the majority of 2019 and potentially quite obviously beyond that as well. Tarek Sims comes back to familiar territory. He knows this ground very well, as does his brother Corbin, who will come off the bench tonight for the St George Illawarra Dragons against their former club. Corey Norman, what a field goal he snapped to win it last week against the Broncos.
Yeah, congratulations to Cam McInnes as well, leading out the Dragons, one of the most historic clubs, if not the most historic club in the competition. Very proud moment for him and his family.
The Newcastle Knights much to play for here this evening. Started with a good win against the Sharks in round 1. 14-8 victory against Cronulla. But they followed that up with losses to the Panthers and also Canberra last week. 17-10 down there in the nation's capital. But David Clemmer, with some strapping on that right knee, is good to go and lead this team again tonight. James Gavitt is out with injury. Tim Glasby comes into the starting side. He's been good off the bench, but this is the man they have all come to see here in Newcastle tonight. What difference does Kalen Ponga make wearing the fullback jersey here against the Dragons? Should be a great battle of the speedsters on both teams. Duffy, 13 tries in 2018 in the fullback role. Ponga back where I think most people believe he truly belongs, and Danny Levi gets us underway here in Newcastle. The Knights at home for the 3rd time this season, taking on the Dragons, and James Graham it is who will play it here just inside his own 20. McInnes is co-captain tonight, working it from dummy half. Comes across to Paul Vaughan. His right-hand side once again. Simple stuff in this opening set from the Dragons, with Blake Laurie in the 13 jumper tonight. Tyson Frizzell, the inclusion after that nasty injury back in round 1 up in Townsville against the Cowboys. At the 40, Norman is turning Sims back underneath. Sims on the left edge. Jacob Host, fixture now on the right-hand side for Paul McGregor. Ben Hunt with the kick. A little bit of pressure there from Levi. Didn't quite get there in time, and Ponga brings it back. And the crowd finds its voice for the first time tonight. A little hesitation in the step there as he brings it back just inside the Knights' 20. A secure catch from the returning fullback who finished the game last week. Probably played about a third of the game in that that second half, especially against the Raiders in Canberra last week. We'll see what he can do for the full 80 minutes here tonight as Clemmer brings it back to almost the 40. The Dragons, like the Knights, 1 win and 2 losses. They broke their drought last week in that win, the 1-point victory against Brisbane. Levi waiting. Pearce puts the kick in. Good battle tonight between the halves, Ben Hunt and Mitchell Pearce, both of them with Origin and international experience, and Dufty brings it back 20 short of the halfway line. Good defensive set from both teams to begin here this evening.
Yeah, plenty of talk about Ponga, but Dufty is a player that the Knights will have to watch, especially on kick returns. We just saw him then, just only needs a little bit of space, and his speed will take him through there, so I'm sure that's something they looked at through the week with Nathan Brown. The kick chase needs to be strong on Matt Dufty.
Mitchell Pearce underneath the ball carrier there, James Graham. Flat. The first receiver there was Norman, who tried to get through the tackle of Levi and also Matautia. Chance to put up an attacking kick at the back end of this set. Goes back to Hunt, who does loft it into the air. Sean Kenny down underneath it, does well to adjust as it comes back to Worth. And he'll play it here just inside his own 30.
Yeah, both these teams have had their issues with their attack, haven't they, this year? The Knights haven't really taken off with their attack. Same with the Dragons, so they'll be just looking to get through their sets and build a bit of pressure and just no errors and some more completions and start the game pretty solid.
Well, the Dragons really have dominated this affair over the years. They've won the past 2 and 20 of their past 26 games against the Knights, dating all the way back to 2004. Glasby works it across the halfway line. We'll play it here just outside the 40 on the last as Pearce. He puts it up with pressure here. Coming forward, Pereira had some blocking, but coming through, Kenny Dow makes the catch, steps away from Pereira, looking to keep it alive. Over the top to Lenor. He puts a second kick in. Dufty under pressure to bring it back. They'll get to him and drive him back into the end goal.
That was a spectacular take from Sean Kenny Dow. Did a great job to defuse a bomb at the other end of the field, one that floated around. He had to move a fair bit, and then that one from Mitchell Pearce landed perfectly, timed the run. Just watch it on the 40. Gets it up as high as possible so his chasers can get there. Clean catch at the ball. Fantastic from Kenny Dow. Almost got himself into a position to score a try. Lobbed one over to Mason Lenor, who summed it up pretty well. Looked left. There was really no one to pass it to, and they get the ball again.
What a spectacular catch. Sean Kenny Dow coming through. Norman was doing the blocking for Pereira, who never got close to it. Levi comes across to Clemmer. Just punch it forward and set themselves for a bit of shape here between Pearce. Ponga on this left-hand side, playing in almost a 5/8 role now, and then popping the ball. Comes away to Heimel Hunt. He'll be wrapped up there pretty comfortably. Here's the beauty of playing Ponga in the full-back position. He can jump in anywhere he likes. He links up here with Pearce. Goes wide to Leno. Cross to Matautia, who has taken the ground heavily. Great tackle by Tim Laffey. Matautia, who's had a history of concussions throughout his career, was able to bounce back to his feet. That was a strong tackle.
Yeah, beautiful edge defence there from Timmy Laffey on that left edge of the Dragons. Very aggressive. They know that today. Good shot there from Kalen Ponga out to the right of the Dragons. So I'm sure their edge has been a lot of work for training this week.
See it again. Laffey came up, tackle over the ball, and
great shot,
land into the turf.
Yeah, great shot, Laffey.
Laurie here, just outside the Newcastle 30. Goes to Hunt. Goes across to Aiken with a cut-out ball, and then was almost able to sneak in behind Heimel Hunt there. Needed some help from Mitchell Pearce to make the tackle. And now Hunt across the face of everybody. Ramian underneath at a juggle. He can't clean it up. In an offside position, Sione Matautia, and the Dragons will have the option here of taking first points.
Pick and choose the runs you're
maybe going for 6 instead.
Yeah, it's caught in two minds there, Jesse Ramian. thinking about being the blocker as such or just getting in the way, but then he had to come up with the catch. Just spilt it. He had to take his eyes off the ball, put his eyes on the ball at the last minute.
Yeah, we just saw a snippet, and I think Heimel Hunt's in for a tough evening, marking up on Ewan Aitken. Aitken's an enormously powerful runner of the footy, and I think Hunt's going to have his hands full with him.
Showed some form last week, didn't he, Aitken? There at Suncorp. Really rose to the challenge. I think I loved his prep during the week. He sort of came out and talked up a bit of a game, and he came out and backed it up. So a little bit quieter this week, but I'm sure his football will do the talking out here tonight.
It's going to be Tim Laffey to do the kicking here for the Dragons to begin with, of course, with Gareth Widdop out of the team. Someone to stand up and do the kicking here tonight and for the remainder of the season. And no mistake from Laffey. First up here to put the Dragons on top at 2-0 downstairs to Megan Barner.
Yeah, good evening. Well, it's great to be here in the Hunter tonight for such a special game that carries so much meaning. And look, regardless of who wins, it is about Alex McKinnon and celebrating his strength and his incredible courage. You'll also notice the Knights are wearing black armbands tonight. That is out of respect for Sean Kenny-Dow and Jesse Ramian, who both lost family members in recent weeks. Weather-wise, clear skies and balmy, only a slight breeze about a perfect evening for footy.
It doesn't get any better than this. It is firm and fast. The track itself, dry conditions after we've had so much rain throughout the NRL to begin this 2019 season. It's a great night tonight. A good atmosphere here as well. The visitors on top. They're used to that when they play Newcastle, whether it's here or back at home, one of their many home grounds. In 2019, Vaughan standing there for an age, but awkwardly coming to ground on that left leg. He's had, of course, knee and ankle issues in 2018. Paul Vaughan. As McInnes waits at dummy half, Laurie plays it, bypasses Graham. Hunt slipped there on the edge. Just a slightly repaired section of turf there in the middle of the field. McInnes finds Graham. Goes to Norman. Numbers on this left-hand side. They've got them short. There's going to be a penalty, though, for an obstruction play. This will be interesting to take a look at. They certainly had the numbers on that left-hand side.
Boy, they were awfully short, Newcastle, weren't they? Jesse Ramian.
Not the first time either, Brandy.
Seemed like he was on his own. He had 4 players on his outside, and it was the run of Vaughan just collided with Matautia.
Yeah, some of the middle forwards must be travelling over to that right, because that's not the first time they have been short.
That really didn't need to happen, and whether it did or didn't, Newcastle were so short. They were shot to bits.
A lazy piece of play from the front row of Paul Vaughan there. Cruel and attacking chance. They developed beautifully on that left-hand side. Levi goes to Pierce. Glasby off his hip. Take it inside the Dragons 10. And Levi shuffles out of that right-hand side. Bit of width there between Pierce and Lino, and they take it inside the 10 once again. Ponga is coasting out the back on this left-hand side. Pierce looking in that direction now. Clemmer for Glasby. Hitting and spinning and offloading, and here is Kalen Ponga. Cut-out ball! He's got them! There it is, back in the #1 jumper. Ponga to Lee, and Edric Lee scores a classic Newcastle try.
Well, it wasn't the classic run from Kalen Ponga that did the damage, but what a pass that was across the face of 2 of his teammates out to the winger, Edric Lee. Tim Glasby crashes into the line, spins to offload. Clemmer does well, quickly offloads to Kalen Ponga. Just look at the distance of that pass. That's a 20-metre ball and gives Edric Lee just enough space to get down that sideline.
Look at his eyes just before he threw that pass. The ability of Kalen just to scan very, very quickly and sum up that situation. You see, it's not the first time we have seen this in the NRL. Just here, just had a little look, summed it up, seen where Ravalawa was, which is a little bit in field. Hit that man right on the chest again. Edric Lee would be loving playing on that left wing.
That's great vision, isn't it, from Kalen Ponga. And Clemmer did well. He didn't even take a step, Clemmer. He realised that Kalen Ponga was on his left and just quickly got the ball to him and let him do what he does, which is extraordinary. And we'll see him bob up at first receiver quite often. And he did that last year. When he played fullback, he'd jump into first receiver, he'd hang out the back, he just floated around the field. And the freedom that he will have back at fullback, he won't believe the room he's got after playing 3 weeks at 5'8".
Suffered a knock on the thigh last week, carried a cork through training this week, but is doing the kicking to begin the game. They also have Mason Lenor, who is a competent kicker in the team here tonight, but making a statement early on. Kalen Ponga serving it up for Edric Lee, Megan.
Oh, he looks right at home, doesn't he? Back in the number 1, Kalen Ponga. And what about Edric Lee? He's a real crowd pleaser, and after being silenced in the nation's capital last week, it's no surprise he's out to make a statement tonight. And with that, he brings up 50 career tries, the milestone coming as he closes in on 100 NRL games. Nathan Brown describes him as a better player than what he thinks, something that Edric says is very humbling.
Gee, that's a crucial mistake from Paul Vaughan. The Dragons were away down the left.
For a team that has struggled to score points, that is confidence building for the men on the field and the nervous coach watching on from up high here in the grandstand at McDonald Jones Stadium. There's 38 points scored through their first 3 games of the season, an equal low for the Knights. The 3 games of a new season as Clemmer will play it here through Pearce. To that right-hand side, they'll just punch it forward through Barnett. Take around the head tonight after a knock last week against the Raiders. Here's Ponga doing the stepping. Wrapped up, though, by Laurie and also Jacob Host. And Pearce from the halfway line puts it up. And an awkward one here to handle for Duffy. Goes to his knees, bringing it down, but it makes the catch all the same. And the Dragons will get their turn here with just on 13 minutes gone. The Knights 6, the Dragons 2. Stoppage. As they'll ask Ewan Aitken to go back a couple of paces and play it on the spot where he was tackled. Pereira, bullocking winger who loves to come in field, take a carry where he can, but he was met by some good defence here. Glasby was there, Matautia also. Lino adding his weight to the tackle. And the man who transgressed and gave the Knights possession and capitalised off the back of it. Now Graham. Inside the 40. Carey meters after the tackle. He tried to pass that after the call of held. We're going to say it was ripped out, aren't it? Matt Checkett blew the whistle there and charged tonight.
Did you think that was an offload, an attempted offload, or was it a strip?
Thought it was an offload.
Oh, absolutely. What's the pocket referee doing? It was right in front.
He had every chance to overcall that, didn't he?
Oh, he must feel embarrassed after it coming up on the big screen.
When I heard the whistle, I thought they were calling it back because he passed it after the call of held.
That's late in the tackle count. It's big blue.
Well, it gives the Dragons a bonus chance here from just outside the 10. McInnes goes to Blake Laurie, who runs at Barnett. Paul McGregor has spoken in recent weeks about Laurie and his motor, and he just loves what he brings to the team. Hunt trying to grub it through the line. Did Pearce play at that? They're going to say he did. This one ricocheting beyond the dead ball line.
Dragons
6 more tackles.
Yeah, just trying to kick early in the count, which can sometimes catch defences unaware. And there's Mitchell Pearce just getting that right foot out, not letting it get through the line.
It's good coaching from McGregor. He saw where Kalen Ponga was. He was nearly under the post. That ball did go through. He had Aiken, Host, just screaming on through. One close to scoring 4 points.
And the drop out from Pearce. Down to Norman Vaughan, bringing it back at speed. Clemmer waiting for him. Robert Vaughan up 20 metres there, Paul Vaughan, before Clemmer got to him. Graham. No thought of an offload this time. On the edge of the red zone. Down the short side, Norman goes across to Laffey. He's been dangerous at times this season. Pereira for Norman. Hunt shows it to Vaughan, gives it off to Laurie. They'll just bring it back to the middle. Kick himself set with an option either side. Hunt on this right-hand side. Dufty in behind him. They go back to Norman instead, getting plenty of looks. The pass came off a Newcastle Knight there. They'll say, though, Graham got a touch to it. I think Norman thought it might have been play on. Would have been lucky had it been so, because it was a pretty ordinary pass.
Yeah, putting on all sorts of pressure there. Norman looked in, expecting maybe Graham to be a bit closer, coming through that hole on the inside shoulder there of Mason Lenore, but they've had to stand firm that right edge. Sione Mataudea missed a few last week, nearly in double digits, so that's the side I'm sure you'll see the Dragons attacking, as they have in this first half.
The goal line dropout forced by the kick of Ben Hunt's boot. And as you said, Danny, earlier in the game, had a great game last week against the Brisbane Broncos, along with Ewan Aitken on this right-hand side. Causing havoc for the Broncos in that 1-point win as Hunt, Heimel that is, will play it here just outside the 20. It's back to the middle. Barnett and Clemmer there with him. Happy to take the tackle. There's a chance to spread it there to that right-hand side had they kept it going. Clemmer gets his chance now. Looks like 8 or 9 perhaps. Chance to kick early in the tackle count here. One from around about the 40-metre line. Maybe Pearce was just outside the 40 when he made contact with it. Either way, it doesn't matter, because Dufty brings it back. He was taking no chances on whether Pearce was inside or outside.
Hard to tell. He was right on the line, wasn't he? And just didn't get the bounce. Straightened up on him, and Dufty was able to clean it up. There was an opportunity through that set for Newcastle just to shift the ball. You're not necessarily looking to make a line break. You're just making metres, easy metres. But they decided just to keep it in the middle. Tough going in there.
Early try for the Knights. They lead by 4. And don't forget, Sunday night with Matty Johns following this one. Rabbitohs Cody Walker and Sea Eagles Jake Travojevic after that thriller over at Brookvale yesterday and went head-to-head. They'll find themselves on the panel together after this game on Sunday night with Matty Johns. Kick down to Ponga.
If he bounces into that studio tonight, Jake, how good did he play yesterday, Jake Travojevic? Can't wait to hear what he had to say about that game. Great win by Manly.
Pearce from dummy half comes to Edric Lee to work it outside the 30. Levi, Pearce, Heimel, Hunt, Ben Hunt there, low, and he's got a quick play the ball there, did Heimel Hunt. Ponga with some room to move off the back of what he did supply. One more play here from out near the sideline. Pearce, with those unmistakable red, orange day-glow boots, he does stand out there at first receiver. Puts up a good kick. Dufty almost got away from Barnett, who had him by the coattails.
Saw what Sean Kenny-Dowell did at the start of the match, getting up high, contesting. That's what the Knights need to do. They need to contest all those high kicks. It is a favourite kick of Mitchell Pearce, but the stature of Dufty, he's not a big man. Some outside backs. Get in there and get high.
Now spread. Norman keeps it going to Laffey. Got away from Lenore, and then coming across Jesse Ramian. 2 or 3 cracks at him to try and take him to ground.
That's good metres from the Dragons. They do jam themselves on a sideline, and the play of the ball was very slow, but they take the metres. And stepping run there from Pereira.
Don't mind that. Back on the angle against the forwards. He can step straight through when he gets the chance. It's Vaughan to play it here. Just outside the 30 as Hunt is chased and harassed there by Pearce. He forced a kick back across the body. It's bouncing around, still there. Does anybody want it? Laffey picks it up, gives it off to Jordan Pereira, and there is a bit to check here, but it looks like the Dragons might have scored.
Jared, on tackle 6, mate. Got no try. Confirm that there was a knock-on from the Dragons, please, mate.
Yeah, I saw it your way, Woz. I didn't think there was a touch by the Dragons, but we might see different on the replay. Mitchell Pearce chased Hunt hard, and the kick...
The inside runners of St George Illawarra cleared as being onside.
...was an unconventional one. Went centre field, Kalen Ponga couldn't take it on the full.
It comes off the Scouser's head. James Graham.
Sat up. Oh, don't know. That's not going to tell us.
He had a swipe at it with the right hand, but did he make contact?
I think he did.
Yeah, he did.
He did. Hit the back of his hand. Definitely hit the back of his hand. Right hand.
We can see on this angle, James Graham's right hand contacts the ball and goes forward. That constitutes a knock on in the field of play. We have a decision.
As you said, Brandy, unconventional kick back in field for his middlemen. It bounced. Palin's got to get on those.
I don't know if he meant it there,
No.
but it was a floater and it was ordinary. They're very hard to take, aren't they? And he just didn't think he could get it on the full, Kalen. And once it bounces, well, that creates a whole another set of problems.
Move now!
Near miss. All the Dragons denied by the right hand of James Graham.
Move now!
Fitzgibbon here.
Straight up.
At his own 20.
Gee, that's quick.
Clemmer
On.
came up very quickly, as you mentioned there, Brandy. Laurie
Cameron out.
racing off his line.
Cameron McInnes too, sprinting off the line. Really contained Newcastle. That's a better run from Aidan Guerra. Just dragged the defenders a few more metres.
Pearce again from inside the 40, no doubt about this one, looking for the angle as well. Graham was chasing out hard on the halfback, made contact with him, they whistle, and Dufty it is to bring it back just short of his own 30. Pereira.
See Corbin Sims out there now with his 4 seasons here at Newcastle Knights, 76 odd games, looking to impress, playing with his brother that used to play for the club.
Ravalawa, who grabbed the first try of his NRL career last week against the Broncos. A nicely worked move between Hunt and Norman. Again, it's looking both ways there. Took a while for someone to put their hand up and say, I'll take a carry. In the end, it was the 5'8" Corey Norman. They keep it going in the same direction. Hunt, rubber in behind Kenny Dow and coming across. Kalen Ponga is happy that to go into touch. And they'll force a scrum 10 out from the Newcastle Knights line.
For the Dragons, it's a shame that it went out. I'd be trying to keep the ball in play. Newcastle have had to work it off their line now for the last 5 minutes. Seem to be doing it tough. They really could have kept the pressure on there, but I guess on the flip side, they get an opportunity to set their defensive line. But I think more pressure if they kept that ball in play.
October 6th is a long way away, but you can experience the passion and spine-tingling action of the NRL Telstra Premiership Grand Final. It is October 6th at ANZ Stadium in Sydney. Tickets available for purchase this Tuesday onwards for ticketed members and available from Thursday onwards for the general public. And perhaps, given some of the results over this interesting weekend, there might be fans of teams who weren't really thinking about the first weekend of October, might have changed their minds on what they've seen from their teams.
Good shot, Tarek Sims there, read the pass and was all over Aidan Guerra.
Pearce, lean a little goose step as he goes towards Norman and pops the ball out the back. That was clever. Matautia did likewise to Jesse Ramian. Ramian scored a tremendous try last week to give them a bit of a chance in the second half against the Raiders. Now Pearce puts it up. He was taken to ground heavily again. Tarek Sims coming out. Contact was well after the kick, but they're going to say it was all legal. And Dufty again has it here just outside the Dragons' 20.
He's been in some awkward kicking positions, Mitchell. He's been on sidelines, which makes it really tough and makes it easier for the chase and the pressure to get to you.
Yeah, the line speed's been very evident. Very good from the Dragons here for opening stand of this match. Knights with the dummy half, that pass, the width. They can take the line speed out by the width of the dummy half pass. Needs to be a bit longer.
Change here made by Paul McGregor, and it's good to see, after missing the last couple of weeks, Tyson Frizzell is back, coming off the bench tonight for the Dragons after that lacerated testicle he suffered against the North Queensland Cowboys up there on a rainy night in Townsville.
They've looked like something is about to happen down that left side for the Dragons just about every time they go there.
Norman just dobbing one in behind them here. It sits up awkwardly. Pearce, though.
Oh, stolen.
Pocket pick by Tyson Frizzell. there's the return to the NRL by the replacement forward. Pearce came up with it, and I was about to say he did very well to sense the kick was coming in behind the line, but having made the catch on the bounce, Frizzell just comes through and says, thanks very much, I'll have that.
Oh, what a huge play. Massive. And we've seen a lot of it in recent times, haven't we? Players, you know, looking for the one-on-one steal. Cameron Munster last weekend in Bathurst got 3 of them, and this one sat up. He did well, as you said, got in position good. But then Tyson Frizzell, strength, just ripped it out of his arms, only on the field for moments, and scores a try, a crucial try for the Dragons.
Yeah, haven't we seen it? Speak about change over possession. Anytime that you can change over possession with a battle, there's not too many in our game where you can change the possession, and that's definitely one that's been highlighted this year, because you see so much of it, the one-on-one strip, especially when they're not expecting it. Everyone's got to expect it these days.
We have seen an alarming amount of strips like that. This season in particular, it seems as though through almost now 4 rounds of football, we've seen more than we ever have seen.
Agree, absolutely. There's no doubt it's become fashionable, the one-on-one strip. Well, Cameron Munster even told one of his players to exit the tackle so he could perform the one-on-one strip.
We used to see it the back end of each half, didn't you? Or back end of the game when you need something special. But you know, if we play is on notice, he knows he'll lock the ball up.
Well, that's not a bad return, is it, for Tyson Frizzell? Comes on the field, has a hit up, and then scores a try.
Let's just say he deserves that. He's gone through some tough, I'm sure, painful weeks, Tyson.
And from right in front, Tim Laffey adds the extra 2. The Dragons, who scored first through a penalty goal from Tim Laffey, they let it here, Megan, 8 points to 6.
Yeah, Newcastle fans aren't happy about this, but what about that from Tyson Frizzell? An incredible return after he was initially expected to miss up to 6 weeks with a very painful injury, as you mentioned, Bedsy. As we see Daniel Saifiti a moment ago come onto the field, an incredible comeback from him. 3 weeks ago, it was initially feared he'd suffered a season-ending knee injury. There's some medical miracles in this house.
Both the Saifiti boys have had leg issues in recent times. Jacob an off-field issue. Daniel on the field back in round 1 against the Sharks. Levi gets us back underway. Try apiece. The Dragons headed by 2. Sims met by that man fresh on the field. Saifiti and Clemmer driving him backwards. Welcome back to Newcastle, they say, Corbin.
How good was that? Saifiti and Clemmer just absolutely drilled Corbin Sims. Frizzell trying to get the Dragons out of trouble. There at the replay box, Clemmer over the top.
He's got it with the dodgy left arm, Corbin. Trainer's out there with attending him now.
He played 76 games for the Knights, did Corbin Sims. Tarek played 27. Over a couple of seasons as well. They played 25 games together while they were here. Now Norman put it in the air, midfield bomb. Plenty of depth on it also. Ponga, such a good catch of the ball. Just almost never see him make a catch where he looks hurried or in an awkward position. Just judges the flight so beautiful.
That was still a good recovery and a good recovery set from the Dragons then. Corey Norman put that bomb up from halfway, so even though Sims was backing his own 10-metre line after that initial tackle, he made some good metres.
Jesse Ramian gets the legs pumping here and drags James Graham 10 metres or more.
The crowd are getting a little bit anxious about the 10 metres here. Something very vocal about it. It's been great line speed from the Dragons.
Here's Ponga, another cutout ball. This one to Edric Lee again. Steps back away from the sideline. Nice tackle there by Makani Ravalawa. And from just outside the 20, Pearce takes a carry. That looked like Andrew Johns from an era before. Is taking on the forwards and saying, stop me if you can. Lino puts it up. Pereira underneath it, makes a catch above his head. He'll do well to stay in the field of play, and he did just. Matauta trying to swing him back, and then another piece of play there between Tariq Sims and Pereira. Interesting to see Mitchell Pearce towards the back end of the set of 6 just take it up. An edge back rower.
Well, I think he looked at his right and there wasn't much happening. There wasn't much on offer, so he thought he'd be best just to take the line on himself.
Slow play the ball here once again for Corbin Sims, and there's no risk in the world. He has damaged that left arm or shoulder from that tackle when he was met by Saifidi and also Clemmer. You can see him there just hanging beside his hip as he walks forward, following the flight of the ball here. We'll see if he can take his position in the defensive line for the moment. They bring it back, and he is there trying to make a right shoulder tackle. So more credit to him. He suffered an injury in the opening exchange after coming off the bench, but he's picked up, looks to be a fairly significant, I'm going to say, shoulder problem as a result.
Both teams have been guilty at times during the year with their completion rates, but they're well above 80%, both these teams. Should please the coaches.
Pearce for Ramian. One over the top there of Corey Norman, who was beaten on the previous play. Levi finds Pearce, Aidan Guerra. Let's take it forward. One more play here from outside the 20. Levi looking to his left-hand side. Pearce is there. Ponga now skips to the outside. A lovely ball. It's an exhibition. Kalen Ponga turning it on. Just going to the line, causing issues for the Dragons' right side defence. And Heimel Hunt on the end. It was laid up on a platter by Ponga.
What a nightmare it'd be having Kalen Ponga being an edge defender coming at you at speed, wondering what he's going to do. Step, pass, run, goose step, chip kick. He's got it all, and this time, again, just hits the man that's in space. And that's all he's looking for. He's looking for space for himself or for his runner. Gets on the outside of host, drags in Ben Hunt, Ewan Aitken, and it was a good line on the outside from Fitzgibbon, and that created the space for Heimel Hunt.
Well, he had 1 try assist for the first 3 games, Kalen Ponga. He's tripled that now. He's got 3 for the season with 2 here tonight.
Do you reckon it was a good move? Back to fullback?
I think it's probably working.
When you're up against Kalen, obviously he's giving you the warning shot. He can go long, but that was a beautiful play because he could have gone short, which you and Aiken read that. It was just that little miss ball. Just missed his back rower there and Fitzgibbon and just hit Heimel Hunt.
Because it had been such a great combination, the Ponga-Fitzgibbon combination last year. So there would have been some chat amongst the Dragons about that. And Ewan Aitken, his eyes lit up when he saw Fitzgibbon coming into that space, and that just created the hole.
Trying to swing it back. It'll stay outside that left upright. Ponga misses to the left-hand side, but they lead this 10 points to 8. On NRL 360 tomorrow night from 6:30 p.m, it's Coaches' Night. Titans Garth Brennan joins Yvonne Sampson and Paul Kent on the desk, talking all things rugby league tomorrow night on NRL 360. Nathan Brown, during the week in the lead up to this game, said, I probably underestimated the amount of scrutiny Kalen Ponga would get, to be honest, and that is hard to imagine that there would be anything less than the amount of scrutiny we saw on Kalen Ponga with his move. Same thing with Paul McGregor and Gareth Widdop and Corey Norman. An awkward kick here, and Hunt had a foot on the sideline when he left the ground to try and keep that in play.
The moment that left his foot, you knew there was going to be trouble because Mitchell Pearce was deep. Heimel Hunt wasn't in a position to get to it on the full. And that's exactly what they didn't need. He's well out. Feet well out over the sideline before he knocked it back into the field of play. Boy, what a bonus for the Dragons.
Ponga waiting defensive role for the moment. Across to Corey Norman off the scrum wing, met there by Guerra. Played here about 8 out on the Knights line. Guinness for Zell now. Looking for a second try. What an impact he had. He'd been on the field for less than 60 seconds when he scored. Here is Tariq Sims charging over the top of them. He went very close. He hasn't got to the line, though. Now Corbin Sims with one arm has gone equally as close, but he's put the ball down. Knocked on by Corbin Sims. You can see there still carrying that left arm.
Well, he probably should leave the field. If it's that bad, Tariq goes within an inch. Kalen Ponga's there to make the tackle, and then Corbin, who scored a try in very similar circumstances at Suncorp last week, can't repeat the effort.
Exactly the same, Brandy. That was against Tavita Pangai. Just went straight through Tavita, but that was nice defence, nice goal line defence, but they're nice shapes at the Dragons throat because they're just challenging you. They stood firm there.
Well, if Corbin's arm's that bad that it stops him holding the ball when he catches it, well...
He's carrying it in defence there.
Curious that he was the man, the target crash ball from close range after Tariq had taken the first attempt. I wouldn't have thought, given the injury, that would be his role. Here he is in the middle of the field, defending alongside James Graham in that particular play as they go back to Kalen Ponga, who steps past Jacob Host. There's something to watch. I dare say it might be some time before he wears the number 6 in the NRL again. Left on the ground behind the play, James Graham in trouble here as the Knights go out. Jesse Ramian takes it back into Dragons territory. Graham back on his feet now and rejoins the defensive line. Pearce puts it up. Dufty has been very good under the high ball so far. No trouble here with this one either. And we'll bring it back to play at 30 short of the halfway line. The tackle there of Kenny Dowell and also Matautia here.
We see Paul Vaughan on the sideline waiting to come on. We'll see who it's for. Looks like maybe James Graham's been told to go out the back. So Corbin Sims still stays out there.
There's a trickle of blood flowing from that nick in the left eye and the swelling of James Graham. It is the swap we were talking about, Danny. Vaughan for Graham. At the moment, Frizzell chasing hard on a Ben Hunt kick from outside the 40. It'll cross the line, and Kalen Ponga was pretty comfortable that that was the case. And there is the battle-hardened Englishman.
Leaves nothing left on the field when he comes off, isn't it? He's all inspirational leader of this pack. Corbin Sims trying to get to half-time, I'd imagine.
Remember, Saints are on the clock, fellas. Come together. Seconds lock up in, Ben. We're on the clock.
Heads down. Heads down. Come in the middle. Heads down. Clock off. Ball in. Out.
And the Knights win the scrum. Edric Lee comes in before a carry. It shaped as a hard one to pick this game tonight. And scorelines at the moment will tell you that as well. 10-8 for the 5th time for the Alex McKinnon Cup. And the locals trying to win it for the first time also.
Hold now.
Josh King out there in 17 play. There's Daniel Saifi. He works it up. Well handled though by Frizzell and also Jacob Host. Now Ponga again into this right side of the Dragons' defence. They had their issues in the second half on that right edge. Against the South Sydney Rabbitohs back in round 2 at Cogra. They've been better last week, quite obviously, with Sims and also Frizzell returning as a combination tonight. But Frizzell, despite his try, is out there. Sims, get that injury to the left shoulder. Might be more traffic coming the way of Jacob Host and company. Kalen Ponga, he just loves this left-hand side of the field, doesn't he?
Well, he hasn't gone across to the right at the moment. Well, wouldn't love the left. And those combinations with your outside men, and those outside men will love having the combinations with Kalen. That was a nice kick from Mitchell Pearce to mix it up. So there's a lot of those high cage kicks that he does, but that was a nice little difference. Put it out, give your team a rest.
Ravalava will play it. The Dragons work it away in their own territory. Quickly there, King and Leno making the tackle. Tariq Sims, who straightens things in a hurry. Scatters them as well defensively and gets a quick play the ball, and Vaughan as a result picks up 12, 13, maybe 15 metres on that carry. We can chalk a few of them up. Tariq Sims with his effort on play number 3 now. Hunt chipping in behind them for Dufty, who just couldn't reel it in. If he was 2 inches taller, he takes that on the gallop and might have been something to stop.
Yeah, clever play from the Dragons. Nice little chip from Ben Hunt. And what a man to be chasing it. You're right, was just bounced over his head. Speed got him there, and might have been interesting. He takes that one.
Yeah, perfect part of the field to try that. Also perfect time in the match to try it as well. Going into half time. So they'll defend this set. One more with the ball, the Dragons.
There wasn't much there in the contact between Dufty and Ponga after the event, but Ponga got up a little gingerly. Mentioned he had that cork that he's carried into the game, suffered last week against the Raiders in Canberra. The trainer was straight out to him to see how he was, and you could see him there as they win that scrum, just moving pretty slowly on this left-hand side. He might be happy to get to the break and see if he can get some treatment on that knock once again. It's Guerra. Up to Corbin Sims, who's making one-arm tackles now. Couldn't use his left arm in that tackle. Led him with the right shoulder and then finish it off with the right arm only. It's a brave effort. After injury getting his first carry since coming off the bench, and now Pearce swamped there by Tim Laffey. One more play for the Knights. They're rushing to the short side. Wasn't a lot happening, and he ends up just taking the conservative approach and takes it into touch, and the Dragons will have around about a full set of 6 or just under from their own end.
You'd like to see Kalen Ponga every now and then just float around to the right side with Jesse Ramian on that edge. Could be a pretty handy and dangerous combination.
It's Kalen, Danny, Jesse. Arms around, heads down. Lock off. Bend. Pull in. Leave it, Sione. Put your arm around. Put that arm around. Put your arm around. You two just bend. Just easy, Sione. Yeah, just cut out. I won't be able to get out. Let's go.
Yeah, with advice there from Matt Checken, who came in to talk to the front rowers, or the people packing down in the front row at least. We'll be sure they are front rowers in the scrums these days as Hunt comes out to Jacob Host. King is there to meet him, so was Mitchell Pearce. Is there a shift on here for the Dragons? There is. Hunt to Norman, who poured through a gap. On the outside of Matautia, he puts a kick in. Dufty is chasing, wants to bounce. Edric Lee is there and kicks it to Sean Kenny Dow. Now there's a counter-attack. Pearce will take the tackle. And what a way to end this first half. An alarming hole that Corey Norman went straight through at half-time. It's the Knights who lead the Dragons here in Newcastle, 10 points to 8.
Tarek, get in just a second.
Welcome back to McDonald Jones Stadium, where we've got a game on our hands. It's the Knights leading the Dragons 10 points to 8 after the opening 40. And isn't Kalen Ponga making his presence felt? 2 try assists already on his return to fullback. And of course, both these sides vying for the Alex McKinnon Cup. I've got the great man standing alongside me as we get this second half underway. Alex, what caught your eye in that first 40?
The kid Kalen Ponga's obviously lit it up here the first 40 minutes. It's also great to see Tyson Frizzell back after having 2 weeks off. He's been outstanding, obviously starting off the bench and playing about 20 minutes in the game, but the game really changed when he came on. Obviously he's only on there for 17 minutes, but with 1 try and nearly 50 running metres, you've got to remember this guy's had 2 weeks off. Coming into the second half, he's going to be a real game changer. Yeah,
looking forward to seeing what he can do. Alex, appreciate your thoughts. Let's get upstairs to the commentary box.
Thank you, Megan. Yes, talking to Danny Badiris before the game, Alex said that Kalen Ponga belonged in the #1 jumper. He was confident of that. His judgment has been proved correct here tonight. I don't think too many had any doubts that he was going to be a real spark plug for them out of the fullback role here tonight. We're back underway. Final game of round 4 in this Telstra Premiership. Live on Sunday Night Footy, live on Fox League, and the Knights trying to win that Alex McKinnon Cup for the first time. On top at the moment, 10 points to 8. Fitzgibbon it is. Who brings it out. Now Levi. Josh King to take it forward. Good meters for the Knights in the opening plays of this second half. Pearce at first receiver. Goes to Wade and Guerra. Runs it. Sims and company. They might be nervous on that right-hand side of the Dragons' defensive line because they're set now for a shift, and it goes to Ponga off Pearce. Almost got away. In fact, did get away from Jacob Host. A good thing he got a piece of him. Otherwise, Ponga does some damage again. The men outside him waiting. Pearce, another hurried kick. The back end of the set. It'll go into touch. Allowed to bounce by everybody, but that has been a pattern that continues to repeat for Mitchell Pearce and the Knights so far this season. Kicks, the back end of sets just seem to be almost an afterthought at times.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's Mitchell just getting himself in a poor position to take the kick or whether the Dragons' pressure on him is just outstanding, and they haven't relented. They're thereabouts every time he puts a kick up. So there's plenty of pressure on him.
How quick to play the ball is key for any kicker, especially on play 5. To play the ball is extremely important. Get up and play it.
The way they've set things up on that win against the Sharks, the last couple of weeks in particular, you can give him a bit more space to get a nice, comfortable kick in, that's for sure. Go to this right-hand side. Ewan Aiken, well contained so far here tonight after lighting it up against the Broncos last week. Hunt for Frizzell, charging hard down the middle. Guerra was downstairs. Saifiti over the top, making a good tackle on him. Norman getting plenty of ball tonight. Ben Hunt hasn't seen much at all. On that right-hand side, Dufty knocked up here after threatening to do a Kalen Ponga and step his way into fresh air. One more play for the Dragons. Hunt it is. He does get the kick in, and that has been his main role for the game so far. Ponga coming up and taking a catch over the top of Tim Laffey. Well, his management in negotiations with the club to extend his deal to stay at the Newcastle Knights, and the figures, well, these days he's got to be a 7-figure plus player per season, and I don't know if there's enough room on the checkbook for all the zeros they'll need to extend that deal.
Do you reckon his manager's happy about him going back to fullback?
I think he might be okay with it.
There's a handful, or probably more than a handful, of million-dollar players in the game, but he's a real one. He's worth every cent.
Well, when they signed him, it seemed like extraordinary money, eye-watering money for a kid who'd played such little NRL, but really, they got him cheap, didn't they? As it's turned out, and here they are 12 months later thinking we need to lock him up and extend that deal to put him away for a long, long time to come. Ravalawa will play it. Gordon Pereira stepping at the line, wrapped up there by King and also Saifiti.
Yeah, post. Yeah, they haven't gone down that right side much, but I guess that's because they've looked like breaking the Knights open on the other side of the field, and here they come just about every time they've had it.
Norman handing it off for Tariq Sims, trying to back his way into the line there. Corbin remains off the field to begin this second half, and I dare say his night is over given the way that he was injured in his first carry of the game. Paul Vaughan. Penalty here late in the set of 6 for the Dragons. It'll be interesting to see what they do as far as they're taking the 2 here, staying on the attack.
And Matauti is down, and he's still on his haunches after that collision with Paul Vaughan. Looks like it's a shoulder problem.
Well, they attend to Sione Matauti. Downstairs to Megan for a halftime report, Megan.
Yeah, you were spot on with Corbin Sims. His night is over. I've just spoken to Dragons medical staff. They tell me there is a chance that he has broken his arm. They can't confirm until scans tomorrow, but at this stage it's not looking good.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised given the way he was carrying it and trying to tackle players with one arm, and that is a remarkable story. If he's played the best part of 20+ minutes with a broken arm here tonight.
Well, what would have been more remarkable is if the Knights had to run through him and he missed a tackle and he was still out in the field. Now, the Knights couldn't find him, but I don't know why he was still on the field. Anyway, they dodged a bullet there.
Ben Hunt's got the ball, so that's positive here for the Dragons. Looks like they'll attack the line and have a set of 6 down here in the red zone of the Newcastle Knights.
No, concerned about that right side, the shoulder into the neck for Sione Matauti. Looks as though he's going to be okay to continue on for a full wrap-up of round 4. Join Vonnie, Mick, Hoops, and their special guest Sam Burgess on the Big League Wrap. That's tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. The Dragons, 25 metres out. They go to Tariq Sims. McInnes waiting at dummy half. A chance here off the back of that penalty late in the set of 6. There's Lattimore. His elbows and knees trying to crawl a couple of extra metres in the tackle there of King and Guerra. Norman on his outside, flat pass there, and you heard the call of forward. The touch judge in line with the play. Hunt looks a little mystified, but it did look to be a good call.
Amusing play there from Hunt. He sort of didn't challenge the line and go deep into the line. He sort of just went to tip it on. Just tipped it on there. Ball is forward to Host.
Gee, that's complacent. That's tackle 2. Tackle 2. You're down 10 points to 8. A golden opportunity to either apply more pressure or come up with points, and you throw a lazy pass like that. I blame both of them. The halfback and the man that received the ball for being in front of him.
What a chance blown by St George Illawarra. They have this great record against the Newcastle Knights for playings of the Alex McKinnon Cup. Won them all. Here is Guerra.
Gee, Cameron McInnes again has led this defensive line all night. He's up quick at the advantage line. Pearce with a step, but Frizzell's up to the task.
Stepping back into Frizzell, not a great idea. Not a great play, the ball. They get away with one potentially there. Shot it under that right foot without ever really going close to making contact with it. Pearce. He'll make contact here, though. From well inside the 40. Picks out Pereira on the full. A low, hard kick, and Pereira did well to get back there in time, and look at him stay alive. Coming back out towards Tim Laffey.
Did he see Matt Duffy screaming through that gap then? I don't think he did. I think he had blinkers on then, Jordan Pereira.
I don't think many people did, Brendan, because he's going that quick. He was out of the back fence there, Duffy. Definitely held up his end of the bargain, hasn't Pereira this year in 2019. He's been outstanding. His workload, that's his 13th hit up.
Scored 4 tries too, Dan. He's been very, very good for them.
Here's Host. Charging hard off the handoff there from Ben Hunt. Just outside the 40. Play 5 coming up. Paul Vaughan ran for almost 100 metres in the first 40. Did Vaughan in his stint. A couple of them after coming back out there for James Graham towards the back end of that first half. Norman puts it up. Kenny Dow standing underneath it, loses it backwards. Ponga cleans it up. He's ever present and just waiting for a mistake. Should there come one from Sean Kenny Dow? He can have his moments under the high ball SKD. We've seen that throughout his career.
Took a couple of beauties in the first half. That one just bouncing off his chest. Makes the hit up. Try and rectify.
Saifidi running it. Frizzell and also Vaughan. Levi for Pearce. Fitzgibbon. Nice line speed there. They came up and stopped and let Fitzgibbon run to them. And now Ponga down the short side puts a little chip in behind them. Ravalawa was there. They're going to say that he touched it at the death. And in an offside position, Jacob Host picked it up.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Ravalawa threw himself on the ball. And we've seen Mitchell Pearce throw up high kicks just about all night. Nice. Great to mix it up. The little chip there. You never know what's going to happen off the back of that. And Ravalawa just can't control the footy. And then Jacob Hose picks it up in front of him. Knights get another set.
There is a sad sight. Corbin Sims returning to Newcastle. Played 4 seasons here with the Knights and walks away with his left arm for the moment in a sling, and they'll be hoping that it isn't a broken arm, but whatever it is, it wasn't great because he was courageous in playing as many minutes as he did. After coming off the bench for Paul McGregor here tonight. Not quite 10 gone, no change to our halftime scoreline. Here is Ponga, he might change that right here, stopping, starting. He's unbelievable to watch, isn't he? Here's Pearce running in behind Aiden Guerra, and it was milked beautifully by the Dragons in the middle of the field. It was a poor play by the Knights. They really got it mixed up there. And then the Dragon defender who came across here, was it Tariq Sims? Ran into Aiden Guerra and sold it for all it was worth, and the referee agreed they got it wrong.
Yeah, it's a penalty anyway. He ran behind him. You just can't do it, whether Sims falls over or not.
Nothing looks fluent out to this right, does it? You don't want to be known as one of these teams that can only go left. First, bit of Callum Pong going back to fullback. That's all it looks like at the minute.
Square up. Oh, wait. Go.
They're back. Tariq Sims looks up. Josh King coming off the line with some speed there. Got to him. Barely looked up there, Tariq Sims. Norman plays in motion around him. Hunt is there, so is Frizzell. Just happened to round Ben Hunt here tonight. Inside, they were outside there. He just couldn't find the right option. Didn't help that he was sliding out there towards that sideline. It made him an easy target in the end. Back inside the 20 here, though. From McInnes, it goes to Norman. A great ball to Duffy. He takes it in stride, though, and Laffey charging onto it. Gets across the try line. He'll be held up. They did well.
Tackle 5, held up.
There wasn't much happening there, but Duffy, with his speed, had them worried. Ramian, Kenny Dow, Lino, all there. Did a great job in holding him up.
Great job from Kenny Dow. He was a shut duck. He was just standing on his own try line, just thinking, I just need to catch.
Last tackle.
Just catch Laffey and just wrap up that football. A really good job.
It's Norman who'll chip it in behind them. Frizzell is chasing through. Pearce lost it backwards. Ponga is there, dives on it, forces the ball. It will be a goal line dropout.
Start the shot clock.
Yep, yeah. Bit of debate between the players about who got that, who had the touch on the footy. It did look like Tyson Frizzell jumped and had a swipe at the ball, but they're ruling Mitchell Pearce knocked it back into the in-goal area.
You're on the clock.
And that's the point that Pearce was making. With no joy from the officials. David Clemmer about to be interchange number 5 for the Knights, and Nathan Brown just inside the clock. Mitchell Pearce got that away. Norman hands it off to Blake Laurie, who brings it back, runs it. Danny Levi, who remains out there for the moment. Kurt Mann available on the bench, cooling his heels, watching on for the time being. Hunt to the open side with Norman. It looks likely every time a ball over the top to Pereira. They got them, but the pass was forward.
Yeah, the ball's in the air too long, wasn't it?
Hang on, mate, hang on.
Let's have a look at this one. Got it floated forward.
See you all right, mate?
Trajectory of it.
Yep. Start the shot clock.
Well, gee, it's a nervous right edge for the Newcastle side. And look, the Dragons haven't been able to take advantage. Norman drifting and running a long way forward too.
Geez, that looked pretty good out of the hands, I've got to say.
Didn't look that bad on replay,
that
did it?
That looked good backwards out of the hands.
Get in, get in. Ben, you're on the clock.
He's still playing a case there, Corey Norman. I think he's got good reason to.
The height of the ball and the fact that it did float, I think, got the better of the touch judge.
That's the imponderable, almost the unsolvable. How do you solve it for the touch judge, who gets fooled because the ball leaves the hands, the touch judge invariably plants his feet. Relative to him, the ball travels forward. He thinks it's been thrown forward, but it's an optical illusion. I just don't know how we solved that one. That's been happening forever. And the Knights get away with one there. Here's a shift, and Lino got it on to Kalen Ponga. There was space and numbers for Newcastle, but Laffey did really well.
Once you talk about the right edge of the Knights being vulnerable, the left edge of the Dragons is not. Tim Laffey is doing a great job.
Clemmer pops a ball here, and it's come straight back to Corey Norman. Turnover by the front rower, who was fresh back on the paddock.
They'll be doing good here, the Knights, to hang on.
Their middle's starting to look a little bit ragged. A minute.
Here's Hunt into his left-hand side. They'll work it inside the 20. Vaughan will play it there, pretty much right in front of the uprights. Hunt on this left-hand side now. Sims trying to hit and spin. The tackle there of Saifiti. 10 metres out, midway through this set. Inside the red zone, the Dragons looking to take back the lead. A ball over the top. Duffy for Ravalawa! What a ball by Matt Duffy! Ravalawa has try number 2 in his NRL career. They almost got them on the left-hand side. They do get them on the right-hand side.
Yeah, he just had a feeling that another set for the Dragons was going to be too much for the Knights to handle. Matt Duffy, a beautiful ball out to Ravalawa. There's the turnover. Clemmer spilled it early. It was dropped on contact, and then Ben Hunt, they'd hit the left. Duffy with the speed. Just dragged in Edric Lee, and Ravalawa is strong. Edric Lee hit him with everything, but still just couldn't move him towards that sideline.
It was like Edric was saying, if you're good enough, throw it. And he did. Beautiful pass from Duffy. For the one from Norman over the other side. A little bit higher. That was nothing like it. Nice and crisp out of the hands. Bang.
They just looked vulnerable, Danny, didn't they, the Knights? And they have in the last 10 minutes. It looked like the Dragons could open them up at any time. Norman was unlucky with his pass. Duffy not. Beautiful ball from him.
Well, the territory, it feels like they've been down this end of the Knights for the majority of this second half. Bit of territory down the other than the Knights. Otherwise, yeah, a tough second half.
They're carrying Zach Lomax on the bench here tonight, the Dragons. At the moment, can't get a start. Ravalawa doing a great job on that right wing. The kick misses to the right-hand side from Corey Norman. They lead it by 2. In fact, it was Tim Laffey with the kick. 12 points to 10. Downstairs to you, Megan.
Yeah, it was great to see that man, Michaeli Ravalawa, picking up where he left off a week ago when he scored his first ever NRL try. It's been at times a shaky start to 2019 for the rookie, who tonight makes just his 4th first-grade appearance. Paul McGregor describes him as a true athlete, 6'2", 93 kilos. He can run, changes the ball in each hand, fend with either arm. He's explosive, the coach says.
24 minutes or just under remaining here. 2-point game. It's been ebbing and flowing. Dragons scored first through a penalty goal. Knights hit the lead. James Graham brings it back out here. Dragons back in front when Frizzell scored. Knights were back in front when Lionel Hunt ran onto that just delicious pass from Kalen Ponga. Now the Dragons in front again. 4 different changes of the lead over the course of this match. Hunt playing. There is Frizzell. And that opening try for the Dragons. The one-on-one steal from Mitchell Pearce. It's Hunt for Corey Norman, showing it, stepping back on the inside there. Lenore did well. Got some help pushing across. Ioni Matautia. Kick off the outside of the boot from Ben Hunt. Ponga looking up, seeing a good chase from Pereira, and runs into Sean Kenny down. That doesn't help his cause.
For a bit of space. SKD just filled the space up and made it hard for his fullback.
Yes, he did. Here he is, Skidsy. Just inside the Knights 30. pattern continues. It's Newcastle who would score next.
Jesse Ramian with the ball there. He's better than just a hit-up merchant. They need to somehow find a way to get him involved in the game on the right. So the right side's been non-existent for Newcastle's attack.
Really had nothing doing last week against Canberra until he almost just one-on-one beat Jared Croker with a tremendous fend and a way to score.
Well, you've got to give him early ball. You've got to get the ball out to him. Dufty spills it, but it's a knock back.
Definitely knocked backwards. Coming through, pouncing on top of him. Hymel Hunt was waiting for a whistle. Checking right there, said it did go backwards off the Dragons fullback. Pressure here to work it away from their own end. He was just spinning as he tried to make that catch towards his own line. No doubt about the call. And on top of things, the referee's right there. And 4 tackles gone. Just outside the 30. Frizzell. Good carry again. It's been some sort of return, hasn't it? After missing those 2 games in rounds 2 and 3 for the Dragons. Very slowly, though, back to his feet. He slumps to his haunches, having played the ball. The kick is a deep one. Goes down to Kenny Dow, who straightens. Puts on the Kenny Dow shuffle. There's a real problem here for Tyson Frizzell.
Let's just hope he's winded. Tyson, we know what history of his injury has been. He's back going into the defensive line now.
Makes me cringe thinking about it.
I was just about to say, I hope we're not talking below the belt again, are we? That would be incredible for Tyson Frizzell. Just a good hit, I think. Coming up, Mitch Barnett. First contact there, and will just suck the wind out of him. Here's Pearce. Lasby back out there now. Lenor, not much happening there. Just ducks into a tackle of Tariq Sims, and they've got 1 play left. Levi scurries. And now Pearce again. Gets a better kick in this time. Goes down to Dufty. And Norman was doing the blocking. Got in the way of Mitch Barnett, who just flopped on top of Dufty.
That's what you're talking about there, Greg Alexander. You're talking about that ball for Jesse Ramian. That was a nice early ball opportunity. Lenor tried to go off the right foot. Bring him into the ball game.
And either you give him early ball, Danny, or you bring him back through the centre, bring him back against the grain. And you saw him score plenty of tries that way for the Sharks last year. But they haven't tried it yet, Newcastle.
Out of dummy half, McInnes almost off and running. We'll play it here just short of the halfway line. Hunt jumps in, runs a long way himself, wants this to sit down. It's fairly firm and fast, this surface tonight. Great weight on the kick from Ben Hunt, and Ponga had to play at it. It was going to sit down inside the dead ball line there, and they've got them now hemmed into a corner.
That was perfect from Ben Hunt, and led the chase, made the tackle. But if you're going to compare the 2 sides on their last 2 sets, the Dragons are all over Newcastle at the moment. Newcastle look tired. They don't know what to do with the football. The Dragons look like they've got a lot more energy.
Such an important game for both these clubs. Kenny Dow has to stop running through. Lenor was going to cause an obstruction, so the winger goes back the other way. Both of them 1 win and 2 losses at this moment. And the loser of this one, given all the expectation on both these clubs to begin the season, are feeling pretty sick and sorry about things after the first month of this new season.
Well, especially if it's the Knights who are playing their 3rd game at home. Punch from a little punch kick from Mitchell Pearce, and he gets the penalty.
There's going to be a penalty against Tariq Sims. David Clemmer, no surprise, didn't think much of that challenge. They got to him a couple of times after the fact in the first half. Pearce on his feet here.
I might have an issue with how high this was.
Yeah, I followed the ball. Let's have a look at it on replay. Oh, big collision.
And he's covered up. Mitchell's got that left arm
Got a penalty
across.
for a high tackle. Thanks, mate.
Just the fact that he was up there,
mate, on the 40.
around the shoulders and above. I don't know that he actually might have got Pearce in the head, but certainly the ricochet, the arm of Pearce would collected his own head, and the appearance gave you every indication that he just went a little bit beyond Tariq Sims with that effort right there. quick check on Mitchell Pearce. Looks like he's okay to stay on the field. And they pick up 40 metres the easy way, and trailing by 2, you would imagine, just outside the 20. They'll take the attempted 2 here to level this up.
Looking at the bench to call. There's been 2 points, and they're happy with that. Mitchell's happy with that.
Yeah, they're not sure. Waiting for word. I'd be kicking a goal, Danny.
Yeah, Tarek, we all love Tarek's aggression. I'm sure the Dragons love Tarek's aggression, and just sometimes could that be the catalyst or the momentum? Takes out the Dragons second half, but as you spoke about, Brandy, they're all over the Knights.
Mark's back here, Corey.
These facets of the game.
James. Cameron. No.
Tarek Sims still wants to have a
Well, what's he doing?
fair chat about it. He's up there giving it to the Knights, maybe David Clement, maybe Mitchell Pearce as well. Clement's now out the back, some 30 metres behind the play. Watch it again. You heard Mitchell Pearce say to the referee that they've been doing that all day, and there were a couple of significant clashes in the first half, but nothing like that one right there.
No, they were all legit in the first half, all good. And that one just crept up a bit high.
Maybe that's why Tarek Sims was talking just there, a little fist on the chin from David Clemmer. Kalen Ponga, meantime, levels this up. We've got an absorbing 16 minutes remaining right here in Newcastle. It's 12 apiece, the Knights and the Dragons.
Yeah, not for the first time this weekend. There's some close ones, isn't there? Kalen Ponga, a couple of try assists, kicks the goal to square it up. 12 apiece. A run of close games in round 4. This is the final match of it. Is another one.
Oh, little juggle, bounce off the chest there of Heimel Hunt on the restart. Quarter of an hour to decide who will be 2-2 at the end of this. Of course, there is the possibility of a golden point draw. The winner will be 2-2, the loser 1-3. Lasby brings it back to almost the 40. Pearce. Knows that Mitch Barnett runs a long way before he gets to Tarek Sims, but on the angle, only a gain of 4 or 5. He's on elbows as he gets back to his feet there. Barnett, now Saifiti. Almost got it back to the halfway line at the end of this set. Levi still at dummy half. Lino under pressure there. Not a great kick. Certainly not the kick they were looking for. And then Ramian at the last moment decided to try and catch it and only knocked it on. And they give it to the Dragons here, 20 on their own side of halfway.
That was a pretty ordinary kick. Mitchell Pearce was to the... I know they need option kickers, but I would be continuing to go to Mitchell Pearce. And Jesse Ramian had a real chance there. Tim Laffey really didn't want to play at the football. Ramian could have grabbed that and done something with it.
And League Life on Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. One of the NRL's red-hot superstars. Storm and Queensland 5'8", Cameron Munster joins the ladies on the League Life panel. Ravalawa joined the try scorers list again here. Good run through the middle there. Graham turns it on the inside for Frizzell, who only has one speed. There's no first or second gear, no neutrals, it's just fifth and flat out. Norman standing, offloading, Sims gets collected, knocks one in the process. Clemmer and Barnett were there to make the tackle on him.
What courage from Tyson Frizzell, but also that man there, Clemmer. Beautiful inside defence, coming across, helping out in case there's an offload. Beautiful hit over the top of the ball on Tarek Sims.
They're shooting themselves in the foot. They are all over Newcastle are just hanging on. The Dragons look like they can open them up, but they're just making errors at the wrong time. Pearce with the dummy, but plenty of cover defence there. There's no one from Newcastle making the metres in the middle like the Dragons forwards are.
Off the back of that turnover, Danny Levi limped from the field. He was suffering from a cramp, and Kurt Mann was right there on the sideline to make the change. So Mann, you would imagine now, will see out the game in the dummy half roll. Here he is off the back of Clemmer. Going to Pearce. Comes out to Barnett, who's got some blood flowing from the back of the head there. Kenny down, nothing doing again. They bypass Ramian, who just can't get a touch for love nor money. Pearce will put it up. A better kick this time. It'll go down to Dufty at his own 10, and he puts it down. Well, that is remarkable given how good for the most part he has been, but he had that moment earlier in the second half where he knocked it backwards. This one, he just lost the track of the ball.
He did, and that's right, it was only a couple of sets ago that he dropped one and it was a knockback. This one he can't handle. Tarek Sims drops the ball with still tackles left up their sleeve down on the 20, and now Matt Dufty drops a bomb that he shouldn't have. There really wasn't that much pressure coming through, and he just took his eyes off the football.
It was elementary, wasn't it? Just looked at his technique there, and the first one a few minutes ago, he just thought it was a blot. And he thought he would have eaten that one up, but that's a little grab of the shirt from Clemmer. The closed fist. I think Tarek is blowing up about that.
Second time, that's the second time, Adam. He has to be...
Mitch Barnett's going to have to come from the field here because he has this nasty gash. Plenty of blood flowing, and they say that's the second time, so he has to leave the field. He's got blood all over his neck. Don't forget, following full time Sunday night with Matty Johns, Cody Walker and Jake Travojevic will relive the drama from Brookvale yesterday afternoon that you saw live on Fox League on Super Saturday.
Well, what do you think, Brandy? See what they're going to work for here.
Well, 12 minutes left. This is a massive set of defence for the Dragons and vice versa in attack for the Knights. They've looked ordinary the times that they have been down here. Let's see what they can construct.
You'd like to think that Ramian will get a chance on the right-hand side. Ponga certainly will on the left-hand side. Here's Mason Leno, the former Warrior. Playing it here just inside the 10. Ponga at first receiver. He's terrorised that right edge tonight. Hunt would have been nervous there. Dufty defending on his inside. Gets caught at a defender here. Clemmer runs towards Graham, though. Takes it towards the upright. Still going. David Clemmer. Man waiting for Tim Glasby. They came up quickly. Tim Laffey again, and they just can't get it at the moment beyond Mason Leno. Ramian catching a cold on the right-hand side. Swings out to the left-hand side following Pearce. Ponga was there also, and Hunt was a desperate tackle.
I'll let him get in the line.
For a moment when the whistle blew, I thought there might have been a penalty for the second effort there on Mitchell Pearce. Just wanted to calm things down, the referee. Last play here. Leno puts it down. It has been a great first appearance for the former Warrior here in red and blue tonight.
Well, Tim Laffey's done a terrific job shutting down anything that's been thrown at him down that side of the field, but Mason Leno, that's a basic error that they didn't need. Couldn't finish the set.
It's not hard to work out what's going to win this match, is it? And the ball control, right end of the field. Both teams are giving each other both chances to win this match.
Golden chance wasted by the home side. We remain locked up at 12 apiece. Two vital premiership points available here in this one as Hunt comes out to Norman. Runs towards Lenore and also Aidan Guerra. Guerra back out there for Barnett. Getting attended to with that cut at the back of his head. They'll have to change the jumper as well if he's to return before this one is finished. Hunt puts a kick in. Man got to him and shoved him to the ground. The contact was okay, say the referees. The kick wasn't a deep one, and Kenny Dowell, as a result, has it 15 on his own side of halfway.
He didn't see Kurt Mann coming then, Ben Hunt, and snuck up on him, put a shot on him as he kicked the ball. That's why it only went 20 metres.
Clemmer. And towards Sims. They've come together a couple of times since a little moment off the back of the challenge on Pearce. Man goes one way, comes back the other. To Glasby. At the 40. 2 plays left in this set. Pearce just turns it back on the inside here for Saifidi. Their kicking game has been below its best again tonight. What do they come up with here? Ponga is the option. He's shanked that off the side of the boot. It'll come down to Edric Lee. He tries to stay in the field of play, dumps it out the back. I don't know what that was about. Kalen Ponga, surely that wasn't what he was trying to do. Put up almost a midfield bomb for Edric Lee.
No, that wasn't what he was trying to do, and the execution of their kicking game, their fifth tackle plays have been pretty ordinary at a crucial time in this game. 12 all. We're inside 10 minutes.
He's got to get the ball into the in goal there, and even if you don't trap them, you can work it away from inside their own 20. Vaughan instead will play it here at the halfway line. The Dragons will have a chance to put some pressure on the Knights. And the next play here, Lattimore, an offload, goes over the head of Dufty. He's had that sort of night. The ball over his head, hasn't he? And lost 10 metres there, and momentum. Kick won't be as easy now for Ben Hunt. He puts it up. Pretty good spiral as well. Pressure here on Ponga. And then he brings it back to Graham. Almost beat him. Involved there in the tackle also was Ewan Aitken. There is no better catcher of the ball than Kalen Ponga. There's no better lots of things than Kalen Ponga in the NRL.
Yeah, I think it's come down. Oh, gee, that's a great pick up from Clemmer. It'll come down to some individual brilliance at the moment because the game plan doesn't really look like it's working for both these teams. So who's got the best individual talent out there? We will see.
James up! Get out, James. Come back.
Now we're getting down to field goal time, perhaps. The Knights weren't looking at it. Last chance they had down here. Probably too far out just now. Pearce puts a lie to that. His kick ricocheting off the Dragons. Still the last tackle here. In fact, they're going to say it was charged down, and play on is the call. 6 more tackles. Ramian into the backfield. Chopped down there by Paul Vaughan. It might work out all the same for the Knights. Pearce goes wide. Ponga, there's space here. He puts a kick in. It bounces up for Edric Lee. He tries to put a kick in. They just keep wasting chances.
They did not need to do that. Kalen Ponga's been brilliant tonight, but he did not need to kick the ball in that situation. Edric Lee ended up catching it, but he was heading across the sideline.
And he did a great job, didn't he, Edric? That left foot just had to get past the outstretched right foot. I think it might have been Norman, I'm not sure, but he did a good job to get that ball out.
They had a whole set in front of them. After the kick was charged down, Kenny Dow and Jesse Ramian, well, they advanced the ball to the 20, and then they still had a set to go. A full set.
Everybody getting a breather here at the moment with the Dragons to get the scrum feed. The ball not played at.
Now, mate, come on.
There's the ruling off the boot there of Edric Lee. That was a good call. If we are headed to golden points, last time there were 3 golden point games in the one round was round 23 back in 2007. Perhaps 12 years in the making. Having 3 this weekend between the Panthers and the Tigers.
And there was almost one in Melbourne this afternoon.
There could have been.
Brees Martin had a kick on the bell to square things up.
Could well have had 4 had that kick gone over for the Bulldogs. And Martin being paid. Boy, he was riding them hard in the run home to the post. McInnes running out of dummy half. Nice the ball there, the tackle of Fitzgibbon. Picked up some good meters though. Play 5, Vaughan comes a long way likewise. No line speed at all for the Knights in those last couple of efforts. Last tackle here, Hunt goes down the short side. Will grubber it towards the touchline. It takes a bounce across the chalk, and they'll make the Knights work it away from their own end. Some composure right there.
Well, they've just defended their own line, so you can understand that. Ben Hunt knowing how his team's feeling. Matt Dufty, yeah, it's been a mixed bag for Matt Dufty, but I think Dufty's speed could cause some problems if he jumped into dummy half and had a run. Newcastle's middle looks really tight.
Yeah, I'm looking at Zach Lomax out in the middle of the field. They're number 15. Just trying to work out where he would be playing. Looks like he's in the middle of the field. And there's Vaughan's stats there. Been in good form to start the year, Paul Vaughan. Spearhead of this Dragons pack.
Heimel Hunt playing it. Comes into this right-hand side where Guerra tries to step off the right foot. 5 minutes remaining. Who blinks first?
That was a good hit there, Lomax, just onto the field. Not all of Kurt Mann then who's felt it.
Chance at the death. The youngster Lomax lining up in the middle of the field as well. His speed might be crucial here if he gets a chance at the back end of the game against this tired Knights middle third of the field. Last play here. Back to Pearce again. Chasing out was McInnes. Didn't get to him in time there. Duffy underneath it. He was hedging his bets again there, wasn't he? Just a little motion trying to almost turn his body as he makes the catch just in case.
Just in case he lost it. He was going for the knock back.
Had his thigh underneath it as well.
That was a nervous take.
Here is Aitken. 15 on his own side of halfway. Midway through this set, they'll need a couple of good carries here if they're to be within range for a field goal attempt. Laffey takes them back into Knights territory. Comes back towards the middle. They can keep it going to the right-hand side, but there was nobody to link with Aitken and Frizzell out there on the far side. Play 5. Hunt, Frizzell, a carry. They take a long-range one here. And then the ball comes free. It's a penalty.
No, it's not.
Before the last tackle. We're all up.
No, he's called lost ball.
It sounded like
that was a penalty tone.
That was a penalty blow of the whistle.
Gotcha. Absolutely it was.
It's a charge. Play 5 from Frizzell. That's how you want to run on to get your kick set up or your field goal.
Keep coming.
No, he just dropped it.
I think he did.
He just dropped it.
It's a good thing it wasn't a penalty blow of the whistle.
10 seconds. 10 seconds.
I immediately looked at Matt Checken then and very quickly the whistle blow didn't reflect what his hands were doing.
No.
Very quickly.
Maybe he waited a beat for some advice from the pocket referee who said he just lost it. That wasn't the typical blow of the P in the whistle. A lost ball. Clemmer it is. Got his heart in his mouth, as I'm sure Nathan Brown did when he heard that whistle blow. Josh King. Good carry right there. Gets them on the front foot here. Four tackles gone. Glasby follows suit. Takes them down within range. Pearce is ready. Ponga is also out the back. It comes to Mitchell Pearce. The strike is away to the left-hand side. He had time. It was a hurried kick.
Yeah, he's kicked 8 field goals in his career, Mitchell. Nice pressure once again from the skipper in McInnes. Never close there in the end, hooking it left.
Come on.
Corey Norman kicked one to win it for the Dragons last week. A 7-tackle set right here. Does it sound familiar? See what they work for. Frizzell.
He's been immense, hasn't he? Frizzell.
Outstanding tonight in this return from injury. At the halfway line, almost now through Aitken. Ben Hunt links up with Corey Norman, who takes them on for the moment. Goes inside the 40. Still 2 plays remaining here. One more carry back towards the middle. Vaughan is the man who'll go for more than 200 metres here tonight. And both Ben Hunt and Corey Norman are waiting back there. Norman again. Why wouldn't it be Corey Norman? This one was low and to the right-hand side.
Well, same as Mitchell Pearce, he had plenty of time then, Corey Norman. And in fact, I think he had more time than what Pearce did. He just didn't strike it, didn't hit it how he needed to. That was a good setup. Paul Vaughan. Newcastle players really not that close to him.
7-tackle set. They return the favour to the Newcastle Knights. We'll see how they go with the meters here. Guerra looked tired there, taken to the ground heavily by Lomax. 80 seconds remaining. 12 apiece between the Knights and the Dragons, like 2 heavyweights at the end of a war they are. Just trying to stay on their feet. Matty Johns after full time. What a way to end round 4 of this Telstra Premiership. Ponga going nowhere there. 3 plays gone. Need a good carry here. Nothing doing.
Gee, they're not going to get close enough.
They've lost their way. Here is Pearce. He'll go a tackle early. Hits it well enough. Hits it very well. It went to the right-hand side.
Didn't that look like it was headed over the crossbar?
And all the fans on the hill starting to get louder and louder, and then just right the last second, dimmed.
Boy, he struck that well, didn't he? Oh,
It was holding it in line, and that's how close it was. So just on 20 seconds remaining, the Dragons, you'd imagine, will just stick it up their jumper here, take no chances, and see what happens when we go to Golden Point. The third time in round 4. What a weekend it's been. Here is Hunt. Well, Duffy was in front of him. I don't know what they were thinking there at the end. That is heart attack material stuff there between Hunt and Duffy, who was a long way offside. Fitzgibbons picked up a lower leg injury. And gentlemen, are you ready for a little bit of overtime?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a few field goals missed in regular time. Mitchell Pearce a few. Corey Norman missed one.
Well, are they ready? Was the players? Here we go. Who's got advantage? Let's have a bit more in the legs.
I'll be interested to see what happens at the toss, because there's been confusion at every toss so far this weekend. No one knows what's going on. No captain knows.
Mitchell, you're
what
right
they
for the toss, mate.
Bobby,
you got him, mate?
I'll give him a little crash course.
There has been some confusion amongst some of the captains. Let's listen in.
Best of luck, fellas. Best of luck. What do you call him, mate, before he tosses? Heads it is. Heads is the call, and it's a head. What do you want to do? Which way do you want to go, mate? You'll go that way, so you guys are kicking that way. All the best, fellas.
The Knights will receive and continue running towards the southern end of McDonald Jones Stadium.
Those hookers never let you down, Brandy.
He knew what he was doing. Cameron McInnes.
Well, the two previous Golden Point games this weekend have been won by tremendous strikes of the ball. Hasn't been the case tonight until that final one from Mitchell Pearce. This one from Norman, always wide and pretty wobbly off the boot. This one looked like it was bending back. It can't have been that much wide of the right hand upright.
Well, you know, Mitchell Pearce looked like a golfer that had a putt that was just about to lip out or not lip out. That's how close he was, leaning, trying to get the ball to bend back.
He looked like VJ Singh on the 18th tee at Augusta. And that's where we'll be going on Fox Sports this weekend, watching the Masters. Can't wait to see what happens this week over there at Augusta National. I know Matty Johnson's a big golf fan. He'll be up early watching his golf from Augusta. We'll see him with Jake Trbojevic and Cody Walker beyond this Golden Point thriller here in Newcastle.
Well, it was hard to pick at the start of the game. It was right throughout, and I'm still none the wiser coming into Golden Point.
And you've got Denny Levi back out there for the Knights, and Mitch Barnett as well, who's come back with that injury, stitched up around the head.
Well, unlikely the Knights will get into position to have a shot off the back of this set. We'll just see what they do off at the end of their set, though.
Goes down to Pearce. It's Golden Point here in Newcastle. Don't you love your Sunday night footy live on Fox League? This is a thriller. So much on the line here. Both teams 1 win and 2 losses. Desperate for the 2 points at this point.
James, give him room.
King will play it at the Knights 30. Levi back out there now after cramping up. Around about the 65th minute before Kurt Mann came onto the field. Glasby charging forward. Simple stuff, as you would expect. They're taking Mann from the field here with the 2 extra replacements they have. Pearce puts it up. A nervous moment here for Matt Duffy. Turning his back again as he makes the catch. He is the cat on the hot tin roof under those high balls at the moment. Wrap him up. 10 out from the Dragons line. Pereira has been good with those play 2 carries back towards the middle here this evening. Blake Laurie rumbling up towards the 30. 3 plays gone. Frizzell has been enormous. You wouldn't know he'd missed any game time over the past couple of weeks. Play 5 here. They won't try and kick early. They'll shift it instead. Comes out to Tariq Sims, who's almost away there from Ramian. Back into Newcastle territory. It's a long one if they were thinking about one, and Ben Hunt is. He's never kicked a field goal in the NRL, and having seen that one, I can guess why. Not his best ever strike.
Yeah, but not a bad option there. He had plenty of time. Quick play the ball, gave him enough time to get a good kick on it.
It's good thinking by Edric Lee, wasn't it, as well? Here goes Sean Kenny-Dowd. He tried to get the 7 tackle set, stretching his leg out.
Levi out of dummy half. Pearce. They take it back across the halfway line through Clemmer. Mitchell Pearce has had his cracks at it. Is it Ponga's turn? He's got a chance with the ball in his hands potentially here. And they send it through the middle. Ponga flat on that left-hand side. Pearce behind them. They'll run it on the last. A tip on. Pressure here on Edric Lee. Comes back to Heimel Hunt. Ponga will get a second chance. Dabs one towards the corner and takes it out of play. They won the lottery there.
Well, they got a result. That was probably the result. If they just kicked it in the corner in the first place and really backed their defence, pressed right up, would have gained advantage.
Well, Ponga backed himself to get on the outside of Blake Laurie. He did, but then just couldn't get back on the inside. The defence converged. His runners had no space. And you're right, they did dodge a bullet. The ball was there to be grabbed. Ponga got himself back there in quick time. And then Cool Head just put it into touch.
The tip on by Fitzgibbon could have easily been propelled forward in the scramble on that left-hand side. And it was cool there, Jets, back in the Clyde Churchill studio, waiting for Matty Johns beyond full-time here in Golden Point between the Knights and the Dragons. Laffey played just outside the 20. Brazil up there on that right-hand side, waiting for a chance. And they game to try a little shift from inside their own territory here.
Well, they got it. Something's got to happen.
Here it comes. Hunt goes to Ewan Aitken. Numbers there through Pearce and also Heimel Hunt. They wrap him up on his own side of halfway. Brazil. Look at carry here. What sort of kick do they put in now on the last? Hunt is back there on the right-hand side. Norman is left. With his left boot, he puts it up. A midfield bomb. That's curious indeed. Nobody wants to play at it. It came off the legs of Edric Lee. Well, can you tell me what they were thinking there? Because they've given the Knights a golden chance here to win this before the first period expires.
Yeah, you would think that Newcastle will be able to get themselves in some sort of position.
They need to go forward. And an attempt at offload, knocked backwards by the fresh man on the field in Zach Lomax. An offload attempt by David Clemmer gives the Dragons a chance. 15 seconds before the first 5 minutes is up. If they're going to take it, they need to take it right here. They won't get another play in beyond this, you wouldn't think. Laurie, before the siren sounds, will get the ball in. Graham punches it forward. They've gone one play too far, surely. Now the siren sounds. It comes back to Corey Norman, who hits it away to the right-hand side. For a moment off the boot, it looked as though he'd done what he did last week.
He struck it well. I thought the Dragons had gone one too many. James Graham's hit up was, I thought, the end of the section. Struck it well, just pushed it to the right.
It's one of those games that we're talking about who's going to win it, but at the moment, you'd probably be happy with a draw at the end of this match. A point each, move on to next week.
Well, he is the target. We've established that. Corey Norman and Corey Norman only. The Dragons, there was that one hurried attempt from dummy half from Ben Hunt. But Norman is the man and Mitchell Pearce is the man, the Newcastle Knights. If anybody's got any energy left to try and come out and put pressure on the man taking the attempt at field goal, they know where it's going.
Yeah, both sides struggling to get any sort of momentum, aren't they? And look, it's still a warm evening. It's been a tough night for them. But neither side really throwing much at the other with the ball.
Sort of in the mindset we don't want to lose it. You got to win it. You got to take it off the other team and just not set up for that field goal. Still play, push, a lot more support around the ball.
They are still waiting patiently by in the Clive Churchill studio. Sunday night with Matty Johns.
Okay, here we go. 5 minutes. Who's going to grab these 2 points on offer? Both clubs absolutely desperate. The loser will be 1 from 4. Newcastle at home. This is their 3rd home game. They won't want to leave here without the 2 points.
Levi it is. Get us back underway. They dodged some bullets, didn't they? Both teams in the first 5-minute period of Golden Point. 5 more here and potentially headed for a rare Golden Point draw. Last one, by my reckoning, was round 3 of 2016 for the Canberra Raiders and the Newcastle Knights. Here is Blake Laurie. Play it here, 15 short of the halfway line. The kick from inside the 40. Does it have the angle? It won't have the angle. It won't go dead. Yes, it will.
Did in that kick. Just bounced.
That is unlucky for Ben Hunt and the St George Illawarra Dragons.
Well, a tactic that he was hoping to find the sideline of 40-20 and get his side the football. Now they'll have to defend 7 tackles, and you would think that Newcastle, they will be in position to have a crack at field goal at the end of this set.
Just over 60 seconds gone in the second Golden Point period. Hunt scrambled back to his feet, looking for a penalty. The referees loath to blow one, as we know, at this end of the game. Given everything that's on the line here, Levi's pass goes past Saifidi. It's put them under pressure here, and they've wasted meters and a tackle. 4 gone in this 7-tackle set. Clemmer tries to get them going in the right direction. Surely they're too far out here. Pearce will run it, bypasses Ponga. It goes to Fitzgibbon. He doesn't want to kick it. It comes back to Mitchell Pearce. He hoofs one. Well, there's been some absolute brain explosions from both teams in Golden Point so far.
What is going on out there?
7 tackles and you end up there.
You end up with Lachlan Fitzgibbon saying, why did I get the ball? Luckily, it came back to Pearce, who put the kick in. It was a pretty ordinary kick. A hurried one at that. Blake Laurie, a clash of heads there. He's got some claret flowing. McCutt above the scalp. Now goes through the hands of Norman. Here's Dufty. Good tackle by Mitchell Pearce. 4 plays gone. Paul Vaughan, another carry at the back end, having a big game. Norman on the wrong foot here, swings it back across his body. He strikes it well. He's done it again. Corey Norman is 2 for 2. A Golden Point winner to get the Dragons across the line. Unbelievable scenes here in Newcastle, live on Fox League. What a way to end it. The ball came from his right-hand side, and he still had to swing around, get it on the right boot, and he struck it beautifully again. What a finish. The Dragons fans delirious on the hill here in Newcastle. The Knights fans distraught. Paul Vaughan has nothing left. You can imagine why after the effort he put in. And Corey Norman is the field goal genius of the NRL. Watch this again. Swinging back. He did it to the Broncos. He's done it to the Knights. Corey Norman, take a bow. It gets no better than that.